say all the TV shows I've been on and all the comedy clubs I've performed at all over New York City. I've performed at Stand Up New York. Anyway. Are we allowed to curse on stage?
Yes.
All right, I guess I won't need this then.
Yeah, that's something else.
So, I work at an accounting firm, and, oh, that's the fact. And, so now my boss found out I was doing stand-up comedy tonight. He's like, Oren, that's awesome. Break a leg. I'm like, fuck you, I hope you die in a car crash. So I no longer work there, so I can fall back on my stand-up comedy career. Did anyone go trick-or-treating this past Halloween? Couple people. So I was always wondering, how come all these kids on Halloween go trick-or-treating? They go door to door asking the same question, and they always get the same answer. And they only want one answer. So why even ask the question? Well, I'll tell you why. When I was a little kid growing up, I was going trick-or-treating door to door. I knocked on this one guy's door. He answered the door. This guy was balding, in his 50s, wearing a wife beater, potato chip crumbs all over his stomach. I'm like, trick or treat. He's like, trick, I'm a pedophile, get the fuck in here. He tricked me because he said he had some candy called chloroform, which sounded kind of good. I'm like, but I don't understand. You didn't show up on the sex offender registry. He's like, yeah, that's because I'm an unregistered sex offender. I was actually going trick-or-treating this past Halloween in D.C. I wasn't really, just for night. And I knocked on the White House door, and Obama himself answered the door. I'm like, trick or treat. He's like, trick, you can't keep your health care plan. Yeah, that one did well in rehearsal. So anyone here try online dating? I'm sure there's a few people. Yeah. So a lot of girls are hesitant to meet guys off online dating sites, which is understandable. There's a lot of creepy guys out there. So to ease their fears, I tell them that a recent survey showed that 10% of all marriages in the U.S. last year were due at least in some part to online dating sites. They're like, oh, Oren, that's great. I didn't know that. I don't tell them they're also responsible for nearly 50% of all missing persons cases. They don't need to know. And if I call them after the date, they don't respond. Maybe they get 51%. I'm just kidding. So, everyone, I'm sure people are excited. We got the Super Bowl coming up soon, a couple weeks. I always get annoyed after the team wins the Super Bowl. They're always interviewing the star quarterback, and they always ask the same questions. They always get the same answers. Why even ask them? So, how does it feel to win the championship? It's all right. It wasn't everything was made out to be. Maybe I chose the wrong profession. And how were you able to overcome all the adversity you faced this season? Honestly, we didn't face any adversity this season. And if we did, we would have been fucked. We only practiced game situations where every single thing was going our way. But don't you feel great that you're a champion? He's like, yeah, we're world champions. I'm like, world champions? They don't play football in any other country. The only time that would make sense is after we defeated the Nazis. You see the U.S. military celebrating 2-time World War champions. That would make sense. Some things that annoy me, I'm sure everyone here uses Facebook. Certain things about Facebook just annoy me. Like, if I make a post saying, let's say, recently I made a post saying, if anyone can help me out, I need a flash drive. And two of my friends liked it. Well, I guess I don't need that flash drive anymore, as long as they like the comment. And I feel like my roommate, he's either lazy or he really loves Facebook. He sets up event invites just to invite me to go to the movies. I'm the only person invited. What's the point? I'm like, why do you do that? Are you just lazy or you like Facebook? He's like, I'm just lazy. And I love Facebook. So, now we'll talk about a topic everyone likes to discuss, usually death. I was always wondering, is it supposed to make it okay when you're about to tell someone a close relative just died, to make sure they're sitting down first before you give them the news? Yeah. And if they're sitting down first, they'll be okay with the news no matter what?
Give some warning that it's going to be
exactly. Hey, David, are you sitting down? Yeah. Your brother was murdered last night. Okay. Are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm sitting down. If I was standing up, it would have been pretty tragic, so thanks for the heads up. Let's say you forget to warn them. David, your brother was murdered last night. Fucking A! If only I was sitting down! It's a joke. It's bad either way. So, everyone can relate to the subway. The subway was crazy tonight. I hate hate when people try to rush onto the train before you can get off, and it's like a game, you gotta get out in time. But then when you get to the stairs leading out of the station, it looks like people are looking up at fucking Mount Everest. Like, you sometimes want to help them out, maybe give them rope, oxygen mask, gloves. But some of these people, I noticed it wouldn't even matter, they're so fat. They pick up 2 seats on the train. Excuse me, did you swipe your Metro card twice? No, I don't think so. Get the fuck up. What was that? No, don't complain to me about the airlines wanting to charge you for 2 seats. You get 2 meals with that as well. So, I was actually, I was taking a flight recently home from Atlanta. I was at my friend's house in Atlanta, and I was wearing my yarmulke and everything, and the screener decided to search me more in depth, because Jews are notorious for blowing up airplanes. So I felt like he was going a little overboard. Like he was wearing gloves and everything, but his hands were down my pants, and he was feeling. I'm like, excuse me. He's like, yeah. I'm like, do you work here? He laughed. No, I'm kidding. He actually said, oh shit, I think they're onto me. And he ran away. And I'm like, oh shit, I think they're onto me. I don't even have a flight. So, one thing that bothers me is when I see young mothers I know, like, don't you think there should be a cutoff for when they should stop saying how old their kid is in months? Like, it gets annoying after a while, doesn't it? Oh, Jane, how you doing? Your son looks so big. How old is he? He's 18 months. I'm like, oh, wow. She's like, what about your son? Oh, I'm like, he's 300 months. I have a calculator for 1 by 12. So, I actually went to the movies recently. I don't know if you guys heard, it was in Florida, I think it happened yesterday. Some guy was texting in a movie theater, and the guy confronted him, telling him to stop, and he didn't, so he shot him. Who the fuck has the balls to text in a movie theater? So I'm always annoyed at people who talk during the movies. And there's 2 types of talking. The first type is where people are talking to each other in the theater. So did anyone see the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith? Yeah. So there's virtually no dialogue in the movie, but this family sitting in front of me in row 3 had more lines in the movie than Will Smith. But the other type of talking that's more, I guess, humorous is when people yell at the actors on screen telling them what to do. I mean, come on, it usually doesn't work, but I've seen certain circumstances where if you scream loud enough, it influences the actor's decision. But what's crazy though is it really screws with your mind, especially when you're seeing a movie based on a true story. Because I was watching Titanic, and you know, shit's all unsinkable and all, and then you see the captain on the screen. And someone in the theater's like, look out, there's an iceberg. He's like, oh, okay. Avoid the iceberg. I'm like, what the fuck? In kindergarten, I thought this had a different ending. So I go to a lot of stand-up comedy myself, and I noticed that a lot of the comedians, even the really good ones, unfortunately, don't have a good way of closing their act. All right, you guys are doing great. I gotta run.